Have you ever been traveling down the road, come to a place and said, hey, I wonder what's in that garage? Well, I'm going to try to show you. This is our family farm. My dad bought it in about 1960. It was a home of the original homestead for the area. There was a house here that burned. This is a replacement. There was a barn over here that was removed for age. This was a replacement in 1947. When that was done, this garage was put up. And that's the subject of this video. What the heck's in that garage? I'm going to show you a mismatch, clean out, hoard of over 60 years. Okay, so here we are. This is my garage, our garage. This place was built in 1947, and it's a 6-bay equipment shed. When my dad purchased the place in 1960, I was 13 years old. He needed a place to work on equipment. The barn, which was a kit barn, I can do another video on that, but he actually started out using horses when he first moved in here. He did use horses. It was 1960, yes, but he did use horses. So he made this portion into a workshop. The other three was storage. So let me just bring you into the workshop. I'm going to go right-handed. I want to make this video in multi-parts because there's a lot to show, and I want to digress and talk about a lot of stuff. So the first part, in the next 5 minutes, I want to cover this wall. So, like I say, initially, this was a shed, so he added electric. I was able to acquire the place when my dad passed. He added electric. He initially didn't have a breaker box, so he added this breaker box. For the longest time when I was a kid, we lived with just an outlet here and a 220 plug here. Then he added lights, etc., etc. May look pretty awful, may not be the code, but it is what it is, and it worked for him. I'm not going to change it. I've added a lot of power strips here. Here's a power strip. Here's a power strip. Certainly it's not overloaded. This is a ground fault plug, so it trips occasionally when things get wrong. But so let me go on with what I want to talk about. So we start out. What's in this garage? This is a sander, just sitting here. Now I use this for woodworking projects. I bought it at auction, and so far I've used it for a couple nice little trophy projects. I built some trophies for something that we do to give away. Made some nice trophies. So that's my little sander. My welder. When Dad started out, he had just an AC welder that my mother had bought for him. That lasted quite a while, and it was still good when I put this one in. This one I had actually bought from a friend. It sat in this garage for, I don't know, 20 years. And it was just time to get it out of the way and just let the other one move on. So plenty of cord here, because we work in front of the garage in the summertime. When a mower's not working, a mower, a hay wagon, whatever the project is, I work on it. Now the farm was a dairy farm. Cows are gone. In 2000, my dad quit milking, and now we have horses with my family, and I have a different career. So we'll move on to this. My Century brand 240 welder. My little welder cart from auction. I do use a CO2 as a shielding gas. It works for everything I do. It's liquid in the container, so it goes a long way. I do want to show the bottom of this cart. A lot of stuff. There's a pump off a Minneapolis Moline, breakers. There's a bearing off a bedding chopper. Just a lot of stuff. Good paint roller. I'll use that in the barn. A lot of good stuff down there. Just have to find it when I need it. Here's a nice 150 PSI Craftsman air compressor. Bought this at auction for 75 bucks. Turned out it was worn out. Not bad. Had a good motor. So what I do, folks, went on eBay. I bought the new piston, rings, cylinder, put it all together. Works like a dream. I did have a problem with the regulator. I had a regulator on something else, so I was able to throw that on. Didn't leak. Perfect. Now I got a nice air compressor. I do have another one somewhere else in the building, but we'll get to that. This is an old JCPenney toolbox. My brother-in-law worked at JCPenney 40 years ago, and this was a scratch and dent that he got for us. Brought it home for us. We didn't have anything but carried around toolbox, so this was really great for a while. Used to throw this in the back of the truck. I used to race stock cars as a hobby. Take it with us. Right now it's the lost toolbox. A lot of miscellaneous thing, but hey, how miscellaneous is that clamp when you need it, you know? A good seal. Not sure what it fits, but it's a good seal. Indicator light. Look at that. The spring. When I retire, I'll probably be out here for a while. Drawers, just all lost tools. I do come over here occasionally and look for stuff in case I need it. You know, there's a little alignment tool for a pressure plate. Bearings. Just some junk in here. Really crappy vice grips. Here's a nice little thing. Use those a bit. In our neck of the woods, there's a lot of properties where there's no grounded plugs. So you need this to put an extension cord in, so you don't have to break off the extension cord. Plenty of nuts and bolts, not organized very well, because obviously what we do is we would get a bag of nuts and bolts, do the project we're working on, and here go the excess. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They're taking up a lot of room, but hey, I might need it. Put some 2x4s together with those, bolt them together. There you go. There's something y'all might recognize. You know what that is, right? Small block Chevy. Comment below if you like what you see. Here's a little shim. I threw that in there. It's a little bushing for a 3-point hitch. Good padlock. I bought a padlock a couple of weeks ago. Needed it for work. Bought a really cheap padlock at a grocery store. It was like $6. I had this one here all the time. But that's actually, I believe, my padlock for my... I got a generator and a chain. Over here, just goes on. Got a voltage tester. A timer. I use that timer for, we have a chicken coop. So that actually is an extra timer. Right there we have a bearing. New Holland 472 bearing. If you're on a farm, you need these, baby. You need these. Keeps the water out of your muffler on your tractor. Muffler can go bad. You save those. Here's a little sweet eBay thing I have. You drill a hole. Got these on eBay, not really cheap. Those crap gas cans, you know, they environmentalists don't want us leaking gas fumes in the air. They don't think we're smart enough. So you drill a hole, push this in, now you got a vent. Who's got the time to stand there and wait for that gas can to pour? Glug, 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 glug. My welding gloves. How about this handy little thing? This is from an auction. I didn't bid on it particularly, but it's a cool little thing. It was in a box. It's a manufactured item. You can't read it, but it's actually in all inch sizes. But it's a thread gauge. If you have a bolt, you just dial it up in there, match up your thread. Here, real quick, bolt diameter. Just tunk, 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 put your bolt in there. Right there. Oh, too big. Match up your thread. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? So there you go, folks. I don't use it. It was from an auction, but maybe I will. See in the back, my Minneapolis Mulling tractor nameplate. There's the end of it broken. It's got to go back on the tractor. When I retire, I'm going to refurb the tractor. Screws, washers. How about this knife sharpener? You know, I was looking last night on it's a little plastic one. Instructions on a good demo. See if this really works. I don't really know if it does. I don't use it. It was in a box of stuff. Save it. Hey, you know, might need it. This is a little quick connect for snowplow. Snowplow never got on my truck. It's down the road now. How about this little baby? It's a DC amperes. Okay. Just put it over your wire and it will tell you how much amperage is flowing through that. Cool, huh? Have I used it? No. No. Do I want to get rid of it? No. It's okay there. There's a little level. This thing, that was full when we got it. Now, I've added to it, but I had quite a bit in when we got it. And guy was going to throw it away, so we took it. Cleaned out I got the last of the stuff out of a garage one time. This is a caliper bracket bolt with the the Loctite. It's metric. Will I use them? I don't know, maybe. But there there's some nice nuts and bolts. This is accumulation. Like this, for example, has been in here probably 30 years. Yeah, probably 30 years. And here's our paint rack. We have some caulk, oil can, penetrating oils. I use this for buffing. It's just a sprayer I use just to do buffing cars. A lot of this stuff is auction. Of course, you know, your cleaners, compressed air for your keyboard, your ethanol gas treatment. Got to use that if you have ethanol gas, and you save it for any amount of time, especially if it gets open to air at all. Never sees. Tool coating, jack oil. Just goes on and on. There's your wheel bearing grease. Little can from an auction. That's your limited slip concentrate. How much is that worth, you know, if you had to go buy that? This stuff, auction, was something I wanted. Enzyme fuel treatment. I don't know if it works. Comment below if you've tried it, but I'll stick it in something at some point. There's some more grease. K&N filter cleaning kit. Paint. Charcoal lighter. And finally, the wall. There's a nice couple of ornaments. A steering wheel off a Jetstar. Not a Jetstar, a 445 Minneapolis Mulling steering wheel. And that fan, now that fan is a good story. There's a radio from an auction, my paper towels. Auction radio, I consider it free. My little, it's my little fire truck. Okay. And then the fan. Okay, let me tell you about this fan. When I was racing, it was a lower class, but it was a Chevy, V8 Chevy engine. And I was trying anything I could to get extra acceleration and power. I didn't have a lot of money. So I tried, a light and flywheel, light and pressure plate, gutted transmission. Well, I thought maybe I'd try that. Our speed shop was selling it. The guy at the racing shop, the dirt track racing shop. It wasn't so I bought it. Well, ran it a few weeks. I didn't really like it, but I got crashed right in the radiator. So guess what? Went and bought another one. So now I'm running the other one. I get in a race, get going. Car starts overheating. Well, guess what, folks? I'm in second place and I'm gaining on the leader. What do? Hey, you don't quit. I don't have a lot of money in this car anyhow, so I want to win. Nowadays, some of these cars, they've got $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 in a dirt track car. And they use just a standard steel GM 4-bladed fan. Well, I wasn't going to quit, so I kept going. I actually got the lead, folks. I got in the lead. But with a few laps to go, smoked the engine. I did finish, but I just had no power. Had to tear the engine apart. There's more to the story, but I keep that fan just to remember that engine. Okay.